Please, all of you, remember from these dialogues, as you may be able to tell more and more every day, is that when we discuss the concepts of metaphysics, they really are just physical concepts. They really are quite practical and obvious when you allow yourself to think about them that way.
Good afternoon, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so my first question, 15% of all divorce are high conflict. And
Repeat that.
15% of divorces are high conflict.
Yes, all right.
And in these divorces, often children are used as weapons of war.
Yes.
To hurt the other parents. Actually, for that reason, I haven't seen my kids for now over 3 years.
All right.
So I came back here to in an attempt to reconnect with them.
All right.
And there's really nothing, definitely a biggest challenge in my life when the flesh of your flesh rejects you and hates you. Yes. So I want to understand from a spiritual perspective.
Well, they've been taught to hate a portion of themselves, and they're simply projecting it on you because they're in denial about the fact that they hate a portion of themselves and are not willing to look at that and change it. So they have to project it on someone else because they do not wish to take responsibility.
Probably the same for me too, right? To be a match for this experience.
Yes. Well, the idea is that the so-called separations don't in any way, shape, or form, if they're truly representative of vibrational incompatibility or what's best for people's paths, don't have to experience conflict at all. So if they do, then obviously there are issues there that are driving that conflict experience, and those issues need to be looked at.
And what are the pearls for me? I mean, when we attract this type of experience, as you always say, there's something to learn, some big lesson. So what is the big lesson you see for me or the alienated parents like me?
Well, what have you learned about yourself by going through this experience? What have you learned that you would prefer to change in your life by going through this experience?
That's a good question.
Thank you. Do you have a good answer?
I learned.
You don't have to answer me now.
Okay.
But that's the question to ask yourself is, what have I learned about myself in beneficial ways I otherwise might not have learned had I not gone through that experience? So how can I use the experience that may have started out for negative reasons in a positive way to help myself grow, to help myself change in ways that I would prefer to be, so that then I can perhaps attract a different reflection in my life if others are willing to also perhaps look at themselves in the same way, then perhaps there can be more vibrational compatibility than there used to be. But it doesn't really matter because even if they change, I'm not dealing with the same person anyway. So what difference does it make who I'm dealing with? I know I will attract what I need. Mm-hmm. But the whole point is to work on myself and decide if I could have done things differently in a way that I would have preferred to. I can be that person now.
Thank you. So I got a small opening by the court. Now I will have the ability to spend 1 hour with them a month on the therapeutic supervision. So what would you advise me to do in that 1 hour so that I can wake up the part of my children that love dad?
You can share with them anything that helps you become a better person and let them know they can use these ideas to become a better person as well. You can teach them they are as powerful as they need to be to get anything they need in life without having to hurt themselves or anyone else in order to attract it. You can teach them that their passion is of paramount importance and they have to know the difference and tell the difference between excitement and anxiety so they know they're always in alignment with the path of their passion. You can be a shining and living example of how to live a joyful life so that they will eventually see that in you and allow it to rub off on them.
Beautiful. Last question. I've always been fascinated with the symbol of a Christ burning heart.
Yes.
So I would like you to describe to us what is the internal state or the state of consciousness of Christ with that burning heart. What does that feel like?
Do you not yourselves call it the passion of the Christ?
Yes.
Burning heart, passion. Follow your passion. Burn for it. There is nothing else more important. Nothing else that puts you more in touch with who you truly are.
And it looks like it's a state with very high awareness ecstasy, but a lot of discomfort at the same time. Is that true?
It doesn't have to be uncomfortable. Remember that that was a specific lesson, a specific play being acted out for specific reasons that were relevant for that time that are no longer relevant for you. That was the point of it. This is the last time you have to actually see an example of this. If you understand the lessons being taught. That's what it means when someone says, oh, Jesus died for your sins. That has been misinterpreted in a number of different ways over the period of time from then to now. The idea is he went through that to show you that you didn't have to go through that this is the consequence of certain choices and to not make those choices. Remember, it wasn't his intention, no offense, to create Christians. He was telling you all that you're all Christ's. Act like it. And then you will be free. You will resurrect yourselves into a new life, into a new understanding, and your heart will burn with the passion of being who you truly are.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Why do you think that there is a passage in your Bible where Jesus is attributed to saying, greater things than I have done will all of you do? He knew the potential in you. You just have to know that for yourselves.
Hey, Bashar.
And do you good day, or if you wish, hey.
I noticed that you give vague answers a lot of times when people ask you questions.
Sometimes. It depends on the reason for why they ask the question and how important it is for us to be specific as opposed to allowing them to go through the process they need to go through in order to discover some of the information themselves, because it's not our job to open your presents for you. It's our job to tell you that there are presents, but we can't live your life nor reveal the process that you may need to go through to get there other than giving you the tools that will help you do so.
Is it also because it's
Was that specific enough for you?
Yeah, is it also because it's up to that person's interpretation of what they experience, or is it literally for them?
That can factor into it, yes.
Okay.
Because many times we will give people information and they will filter it through their belief systems and interpret it in a certain way. And we have to take a reading as to exactly how they interpret it and how much more understanding or processing they may need to understand it a little bit more concretely.
Great.
Does that help?
Yes.
Is that it?
Another question.
Yes.
So the last time I saw you, I asked you about healing,
Yes.
and I didn't really say it, but I assumed you understood that I literally, when I do healings now, it's just instantaneous.
Yes. So?
It just seems weird that I got to this point only because of my understanding of healing changed.
But that's all it takes. That's what we're telling all of you. If you understand how things work, things can happen quickly because you're actually using the instruction manual and operating the machine in the way it was designed to be operated to your advantage. That's all it takes. That's what we've been saying. All you need is the understanding of how it works.
When I heal someone else, do they?
You don't heal someone else.
Or I mean,
when you offer them an
offer
opportunity
healing.
to heal themselves, yes.
yeah. Does it matter if they understand it or not?
Not intellectually. If they're there for a reason of a deeper understanding and they match the vibration, they don't have to have a clinical understanding of how that actually happened because they already have a higher level understanding of how it was possible, and that's why they went there.
Okay. And so people who call themselves masters of healing, are they creating like their own individual realities that people follow and then they practice?
Of course they are. Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Every one of you has your own individual reality. Others will simply decide whether they want to match the frequency or not to get whatever effect they choose to get out of it. A master knows that everyone is capable of being a master. And therefore, all they have to do is put out the vibration and see if someone decides to match it. That's all a master does. A master never forces. A master never insists. A master knows that whatever the person does with what they're given by the master is none of the master's business. That's what makes a master a master. Just does what they do because that's what they do, because that's who they are, because that's their passion. What someone else does with what they do is none of their business.
Got it.
Yes?
Yep.
Does that help?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bashar.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I've been following my passion, and I have a group that once a year has asked me to give a talk. And the most compelling, inspiring archetype that I've been attracted to is the hero's journey.
Oh, all right. That's very good because story structure is built into your psyche. That's how information is retained. Story structure, the hero's journey, as you call it, is not something that you invented. It's something you discovered. Exists within your psyche. And that's why stories last for thousands of years. Because if you tell the story and hit all the harmonic points of the hero's journey, the information is retained.
Thank you. And coming to this planet Earth, I also explore the metaphor of planet Earth.
Yes.
And I believe you might have said it's a master class.
Yes.
And it's also the toughest boot camp in the universe.
Yes.
And it could be a psychiatric hospital of the universe. And
If
a
you want
rehab
to look
center.
at it that way,
And
sure.
a matrix, so much, right? But
All of it.
But we're creators.
You are.
And we're masters.
You are.
But I think to come to this planet of duality, you have to be a hero because it does take guts and
Yes.
heart.
That's why we tell you you're a master class.
Is there anything unique about the human design that we come in here with this range of emotionality? It's so primitive and it's so profound and it's so amazing. It has so many potentials of feelings.
Well, it's not like there are no other civilizations or entities that experience a similar range, but of course everything is unique. You have to take it in context. So you will experience your range in a certain way based on the context of the experience called physical reality on Earth. Others may have a similar or even a wider range, but they will experience it uniquely in the context of the unique civilization or dimension that they also are experiencing. So it's kind of different. You can't really compare one to the other per se.
So it doesn't take added badge of courage to come to this planet?
Well, it does, but it's not looked at that way from the level that you make that decision on.
Okay.
It's really looked at as more of an opportunity to expand yourself in an accelerated way.
Wow, okay. And I'd like to know a little bit about thought forms, that everything we think is part of an auric field, it's part of a collective consciousness. I'm just interested
Yes.
to know about thought forms.
Well, it's kind of the form that precedes the idea of physical manifestation. It doesn't always have to manifest physiologically, but there will always be some form of a template for anything that is manifested physically. Those are thought forms. They stay in the realm of thought forms made out of a type of electromagnetheric energy that never really completely crystallizes. So they are probability templates. Gives you a chance to sort of test something out on a thought level and decide whether or not it's something you actually prefer with your vibration to manifest.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes. And I just want to let you know, in my Hero's Journey talk, I use a lot of your material and references. And I just want to thank you for bringing in so many profound, simple truths to follow your excitement. And that's where you take the great leap of faith. So thank you so much.
But it's not a leap of faith. Again, if you understand how things work, it's just knowledge. That's why I'm saying this is actually just down-to-earth practical information if you understand the physics of it, because that's all it really takes is understanding it. And you don't have to have a leap of faith to do so when you know what it is, because you're just seeing it for what it is. It's like saying, are you taking a leap of faith when you get in your car and start the engine and drive away?
Sometimes.
I mean, yes, sometimes we understand your car may not function as you would prefer it to. But for the most part, you just know and don't even really think about it. You just get in, you turn the key, you step on the gas, and you go. That doesn't require a leap of faith so much as it simply requires that you know what the car will do, because that's what cars do. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
I thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have it's actually two questions in one.
All right.
We do have a specific purpose in this life, and we do, it doesn't depend how long you're going to live on this earth physically. And then if it does, then can we kind of like re-download the software so if you want to hang it out a little longer?
It is possible in this particular day and age to actually shift your theme in life when you're done with one. You don't have to die. You can actually continue on with another theme if that really serves a purpose for you. Nevertheless, most of you have developed or designed the idea of the purpose and theme that you are experiencing to last a certain amount of time precisely. Therefore, generally speaking, when you are done with that theme, you will be done with physical reality. You will not die before you are done. So, unless, of course, you simply decide to take your own life, you can do that. But generally speaking, if you don't do that, you cannot die before you're done with the theme you chose to experience. Now, your purpose in life is simply to be you, as best as you possibly can. You may have different expressions of the purpose, different kinds of things you wrap the purpose in, a specific expression, a specific mission, but those are all expressions of your purpose of being yourself as fully as you can. That's your purpose. You all have the same purpose in that sense, even though you may not all have the same expression of it. But the timing is usually laid out to match precisely what it is that you wanted to explore in this particular experience.
So for whom it depends if you want to have another purpose, so to speak.
Not another purpose, another theme.
Another theme, yeah.
Yes, you can perhaps sometimes choose to do that. It just depends on whether it's relevant for you or not. The idea of continuing to live a physical life isn't always relevant. Sometimes it may actually be to your benefit to go back into spirit and choose to have a different experience somewhere else. But you have to trust the timing that you've set up.
Okay,
Yeah.
another question.
Yes.
On Earth, it looks like every living being is a food for somebody else, like plant
Yes.
for the animals. Whose food we are?
You are food for nature. In other words, what you eat eats you. Because you're absorbing it, but you're also making it a part of you, so it's absorbing you. It's a symbiotic relationship on that level, even though its expression is relatively predatory still. On our planet, all the animals are symbiotic entirely. No one ever dies in the exchange. You're evolving to that, but that's not where you're at right now. But nevertheless, obviously, aside from humans preying on humans, which you often do, nature, when you absorb it, absorbs you too.
So we are not the source of energy to other beings. That's what you're saying.
Not in the way you're asking that question, not really. There are such exchanges, but we're going to let that one lie here for the moment because we understand that there are also many conspiracy theories on your planet that take those concepts in a very negative direction, and we simply don't prefer to go in that direction.
And the last question, as you pointed out, we create our own reality.
You do.
So when you imagine your own reality and then it doesn't come to be true,
Then
it doesn't
congratulate yourself.
it doesn't mean that you just don't have enough energy to create that.
Not necessarily. But remember what we said about the formula? You act on your passion, part one, to the best you can. Part two, what was part three? No insistence, no assumption as to what the outcome is supposed to be. None, zero, zip. Because you don't know what the best outcome actually needs to be.
The process.
So insisting, well, this is supposed to have happened, that would have been the best thing to happen, you don't know that. So when something doesn't happen in the way you expected, be grateful, because then it might actually come in the way it needs to come that would be even better than what you imagined. You have to finally get to the place where you have to admit to yourself, you don't know what the best outcome actually is. That's not your job. That's your higher mind's job to bring that to you. Your physical mind's job is just to experience what it's brought. That's it. Your physical mind doesn't have the job of determining what's best for you. Your higher mind does that.
If I can ask one more question. it looks like everything is in balance in nature. So basically, and if it's out of balance, nature try to balance back
Of
to the
course.
balance.
Of course.
So if you, like my experience, if you want to move to the next level,
Yes.
you always have to push yourself out of that balance, and then you work, and then it backs
Yes.
to the balance. So every time you have to kind of push yourself out of balance
Yes.
to make sure to get back to the higher level.
That's all right. That can be done in a very natural way. You have the perfect example in the ability to simply walk. The only way you move forward is to actually take yourself out of balance temporarily until you balance yourself by putting your foot down again, and again, and again, and again. But in the meantime, you're out of balance, out of balance, out of balance, out of balance.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. In other words, there are positive and negative ways of being, quote unquote, out of balance.
Ha'atu, Bashar.
Ha'atu. Good day. Speak up.
Good day. This summer, I was in England to experience the crop circles
Oh, all right.
and became aware while there and at other sites. And since then, through photos, and since then, with additional information coming
Speak
in,
up, speak up, speak up.
that there were orbs
Yes.
quite noticeably around us.
Yes.
And then apparently quite personally with me. And I wonder if you could explain the relevance of that and possibly any possibilities.
Orbs can be many things because there are many things that can express themselves that way in your reality. It can be an interjection into your physical reality of a spirit, and it simply appears that way because it doesn't really take on a bodily form that you would recognize. So it's a form of energy expression of spirit. But orbs can sometimes actually be technological probes from another dimension, taking readings, doing all sorts of other things. It depends. You have to sort of take it on a case-by-case basis.
So if there are some that seem to be with me quite personally,
Then they might be observing you, or they might be someone you know that's hanging around.
and would there be a possibility of interaction with them?
Yes.
Can you say more about that?
Well, what did you do when you experienced them?
Well, since I found out that they are, I'm used to seeing them in photos at somewhat of a distance, and they never became more personal until the
Until?
experiences in England. And then
And how did you feel when it became personal? How did that moment feel?
I felt exciting because I thought, oh, there might be possibilities here. So I've just been trying to be.
Wait, don't go so fast. Back up. How did you feel in that moment?
To learn that. Excited.
All right. That's a state of being, yes?
Yes.
Therefore, anytime you remember what that felt like at that moment, you're back in that state of being, and that's the point. You're being shown a state of being as a marker to get into that state of being for everything you do in life. And that will also allow you better opportunities to communicate with other forms of intelligence as well. So just remember what that felt like, and you're back in the state of being, even if it doesn't feel exactly the same. You have to know you're in the proper state of being. That's the whole point, states of being. You're getting state of being training. Yes?
Yes.
So, remember, here's the trick. Remember or understand for the first time, again, physics, you cannot experience what you're not the vibration of first. You understand?
Yes.
So, the ability, even the ability to remember what it felt like means you have to be in the state first in order to even have the memory. That's the trick. You can trick yourself into the state by remembering the state and then realizing you had to be in the state to have the memory. Then you're in the state. Stay in that state. Get used to what that feels like. And from that state, don't take yourself out of it by thinking, well, now what else do I need to do? Stay in the state and see what happens.
Okay. I
Yes?
understand. Yes.
Because you're putting yourself in the most receptive state for something to reach you and for you to be able to perceive it. This goes hand in hand with this idea that many times people on your planet will ask for something more. Give me a sign. Give me more information. Direct me here, direct me there. What do I do now? Understand this. This is very important. You are all always being given everything you can be given. You are always being sent. Every scintilla of information, it's relevant for you to receive. Nothing is ever withheld from you. Never, ever, ever. You need to pay more attention to what you're already being given. That's the difference. So when you stay in the proper state, you're more receptive to what you are already being given, and you will perceive that you're receiving it. But it won't be more than was there before. You will just be more aware of what's always been there. That's the process. That's the difference. Does that make sense?
So much sense. So much sense relative to a number of things I'm exploring right now.
This is why prayer is something that needs to be present tense. It's not about asking for something you don't have. It's about being grateful for what's already being given, and then you'll receive it. Because you have received it, you will then perceive that you've received it. And about what you need, remember, it's about what you need. That's what fulfills you. Sometimes your wants and your needs may coincide, but sometimes they don't. Always go with the need. But if you're going to insist on wanting, want what you need. Is this helping?
It's very much so. Avea, Bashar, thank you.
You are welcome. Again, this is the more precise meaning of the phrase, ask and you will receive. It's not meant that you don't already have it. It means that when you're in the state of grace, in the state of gratitude and appreciation by what you call asking, you will perceive that you have received what you need. That's what that means.